And propane grill accessories.
Propane.
Let's not do that.
Okay.
Heat vision goggles.
Yeah.
Because you could use detect heat.
Vision goggles.
Weightlifting belt.
Yeah. You get the idea.
Yeah, like, yeah, this might be one that has a lot of funny examples.
Yeah,
so maybe we'll come back to this.
We'll come back to that one.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get to the other item on the agenda for tonight.
Which was the monster cache, which is spelled...
We did the cache.
The monster cache.
It was a smash.
A monster cache.
I hate you guys.
Okay. So, any badger apparently sells cocaine and cocaine accessories.
Okay, that was off the chin. Nice shot.
I also like that it landed in the neat pile that I've made of the other darts.
How many more shots do you have, by the way, Brian?
A lot.
About 100.
Okay.
Considering I have 235 barrels over here.
Okay, so anyway, let's see. Okay, so the monsters. So in order to make each monster, Wout ran us through a list. He says we need a description so we know what the monster is.
Alright. Since I made the list, can I at least explain it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So...
Okay, well, actually, Art and I had a tie vote, so you get to determine whether or not you get to explain it. Okay, go.
Alright. So, one of the things that, like, we're still working on with PnP is sort of trying to create guidelines for creating monsters, because, like, basically, you know, we have there's the SRD monster manual, but because, like, the Javsverse allows for a lot of variety, we kind of wanted to give DMs or PMs a lot of leeway with sort of what sort of threats their party comes up against. Also, because in PnP, there's a lot of scenarios, or there's room for a lot of scenarios that aren't resolved by combat, necessarily. Because there are a lot of non-combat abilities that kind of crop up. So, I sort of have thrown together sort of a basic guideline for how to create a monster in PnP. And it's a bit... Alright, so the idea is this. The first thing you have to do is you have to come up with your monster concept, because... I mean, it's kind of hard to come up with a monster if you don't know what kind of monster you're making.
So, my monster is a plant that looks like a sofa, and when people go to sleep on it, it closes and then starts digesting them.
Alright.
So, it's kind of like a fold-a-bed.
Okay.
That folds on you.
So, the first step would be to figure out what kind of a monster is this? In this case, it's a plant. So, from there you kind of go, okay, so what sorts of stats does a plant have? Well, it's probably not very dexterous because, oh hey, it's rooted to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably strong because it's clamping down on things and keeping them from getting away.
And it presumably, if it depends on both, it might not only depend on its appearance for people to come sleep on it, it might also emit some sort of nice smell. Or
so it actually probably has, oddly enough, a high charisma. Constitution-wise, it's also probably fairly sturdy. Intelligence and wisdom, probably not a whole lot, because, I mean, it's basically relying on things to sit on them. So you got a creature that's strong, sturdy, and fairly nice to look at, and, you know, looks really comfy. So those are your base stats. So from there you have to go, okay, so what stalks this thing, and what does it stalk? Clearly, its prey are intelligent, civilized creatures, because... Let's just say, actually no, it's
dogs love sleeping
I was going
on
to
couches.
say, no, animals
Wolves,
love going
deer.
after sofas, so yeah. Pretty much anything that enjoys comfort would be a potential prey for this thing.
That's like in regular sofas, cats probably claw the
I was going to
shit
say,
out of it.
cats are probably the biggest threat to this thing's survival.
Yeah, cats, and like also like if it has food, like on it, like if a dog brings food onto the couch before it gets eaten, it might get ants.
Ooh, yeah. Termites.
Fire ants, termites, etc.
You're just big on this fire ants thing. We had this conversation earlier.
because the thing is, I like the idea that like even like if you're fighting something that's like this, and then it's like and it knocks you to the ground, you might end up on an ant pile, and now you have two problems.
Fair enough.
I was worried that you might not have.
I was worried that you would have a choice rather than a dilemma, and I didn't like that. So I fixed it with fire ants.
All right. So
It's a plant, so
you know,
fire would fuck
yeah.
with it.
So at this point, you kind of have an idea what threatens it, what does it threaten. So from there, you can kind of go, all right, what kind of special abilities does it have?
Okay, hold on. Somebody just made an awesome point. The Venus change trap. I like the idea that any inorganic material that the thing swallows essentially just stays between the cushions. And so if you're really good, you can
That's
kind of
how you
like
get loot out of
yeah,
it.
you can reach
Yes.
in there and grab like change and swords and shit.
All right, so that's one of the special qualities.
So yeah, under loot we'll put inorganic loot.
No, fluffy cushions. Fluffy cushions would be the name of this special quality.
Yeah. Fluffy cushions. So the loot would be inorganic change, daggers, remote controls, etc. Can we think of? Yeah, what else?
I wouldn't put weapons. I'd just say change and remotes.
Children's toys.
McDonald's toys, fast food toys.
I have found so many Legos between the cushions of my couch.
Cowbells, cat bells. Yeah.
A world of wonder and adventure.
Does it have a futon cousin that also looks like a bed?
Potentially. You could have an entire family of
The
plants that
recliner.
just look like furniture.
Yeah.
Oh, for the futon one, its enemy is Japanese people. Because it's not actually.
Well, no. Its enemy
No.
is fan death, obviously.
Can we just have that as a hard and fast rule in the universe? You can't die unless you go to sleep with a fan on.
Yes. Yes.
The only way the party can be killed is to go to sleep in a room with a fan on.
Brian, you're Korean. You should know about this.
No.
This is the most likely thing to kill you.
You've never had any of your relatives like warn you not to go to sleep with a fan
Well, that's
on
why,
in your
no,
room?
because all the fans there have timers. I'm not joking.
I know.
have no idea what the fuck.
In Korea, they believe if you fall asleep in a room with a fan on, like a box fan or a room fan, it can suck the air out of the room and you will die.
Now there are a lot of other groups.
We're not making this up.
We're-
You believe this.
and we're not
Like,
just
seriously, you can go on Wikipedia.
And we're
It's
not,
there.
and we're not just calling out Korean people, because there's this great thing about how Russians believe if you sit on concrete you'll become infertile. So, yeah.
I mean, at the same time, though, it's Russia.
Okay,
Sad that
There's no
So- so
telling
the
what the
concrete-
concrete's made of.
well, probably concrete, but it's also like probably negative 80 degrees. It probably will make you infertile, sitting on negative 80 degrees.
Yeah, there it is, on Wikipedia.
Yep.
Stand up.
Okay, so, yeah, the only way to kill the party is for the entire party to go to sleep in a room with a fan on.
Hey Joe, it might be my internet, but I think the stream froze.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting a lot of good notes out of here. Let's see, family of carnivorous plants, pseudonym the pitfall plant, breeze out cotton candy. How do they explain the umbrella inside? Oh, do we want to do, NetHack actually has a lot of funny luck penalties for things, like if you walk under a ladder type of stuff.
I mean, we'll worry about that some other time. I want to finish the couch thing.
Yeah, I'm totally okay, though, on having a page in the book of hilarious luck penalties. Like breaking mirrors, stepping under ladders, etc.
Etc., etc. All right, let's go back to the thing we were doing so that we can finish something tonight.
Okay, yeah. So,
Alright. So yeah, other special qualities. It traps like small things between its cushions when it eats things. I mean, of course, it has its whole devouring thing. Like, it gets bonuses to grab you and hold you down while it eats you. And it does damage while you're held down. Let's see.
So if you're a player character, do you just pretty much get stuck in it until someone digs your ass out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, the thing is, though, like, yeah, should it actually like put you to sleep? Once it starts closing.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like the Sarlacc. It takes 10 years to digest anything.
What? That's why you need to go sleep in it, so it has time to acidify you. Yeah, so I like the idea that
No, it's not the stream, it's just the picture.
Okay, so yeah, if you well, I like the idea that if you are not magically protected from sleep in some way, like once you if you actually do lie down on it or even maybe touch it, Like,
Yeah.
So for example, if you're fighting something and get knocked into one of these, that's...
Well,
Hey,
I
quick
think
question.
I think the idea to this, though, is you present this to your party as, you put them through another battle, and then they get to a clearing, and then there's a couch.
Well, the thing is, though, anybody that's got any experience in this continent would know about the sofas.
Well, yeah, that's why it has a symbiotic relationship with a tree that looks like a house.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, like, they'd work pretty well, I guess, outside of redneck villages, too, because maybe someone just threw a sofa out.
That's actually an excellent point.
Yeah.
Alternatively, a mathematician who just has a furniture store he owns that's just all of those, like, everywhere. So it's like, why don't you try sitting on this?
So he's a math murderer.
Also, just
Yeah,
real quick, do we
just
have it
like
as
that.
elves are immune to sleep effects?
You're asleep.
Like, could someone check that real quick?
Okay, like,
Preferably not, Joe.
if immune...
Because I think that probably we need to, like, if I took that out for whatever reason, I kind of want to reintroduce it because elves are clearly overachievers.
Okay, if immune to
No,
sleep...
they're not.
If immune to sleep, you can cut your way out by what? Using a
Biting.
I'm assuming that, like, the thing is, if you're inside of it and you're not asleep, the thing is pretty fucked at that point. Like, if you have a sword with you, it will be inconvenient, but
Well, at the same time,
inevitable.
I mean, it's
you
one of
got
those
a
things
dagger.
also where, like, one
For a
thing is
dagger.
it presumably requires a will save to not go and sit down on this thing.
Well, but like I said, like, these things might just be around. So if you get knocked into it, or if you knock an enemy into it,
Yeah.
because that's the other thing too is there's also kind of there's also kind of a plot point of having, if you see these things when they're closed up, like if you're going through the jungle,
Yeah.
you can cut it open and maybe find a wolf that'll attack you, or a guy. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of different... or, like, it's also good foreshadowing if you come across one of these things that's been sliced open from the inside. Like, who the fuck did that? No, I'm just saying, like, these
Yeah.
are very
I would say
interesting
that
storytelling
probably, like,
standpoint.
if you're trapped in the couch cushions, you're gonna have a hard time cutting your way up. I don't know if you've ever been stuck in, like, a particularly fluffy couch, but those things will keep you pinned down.
Okay. So,
Having fallen to my own couch several times.